And it is official. English Across the Pond is live.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you.
Hello to all of our wonderful English Across the Ponders. Our Ponders, welcome to our first live episode broadcasting from YouTube. Hello, how are ya?
I'm very well. I'm live from the UK. It is today, the sun was shining, so I went outside and just looked at it for about an hour, and now I can't see.
Oh my gosh. Did you have to slather on sunscreen so your delicate British skin didn't burn?
It was still only about 4 degrees.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But it was sunny, and spring is in the air, and you can only really appreciate the sunshine when you haven't seen it for about 7 months. So England is a happy country. How are things in your neck of the woods?
Oh, you took my phrase.
How are things in your neck of the woods?
In my neck of the woods, they're great. Look at the sun right now. It's like blaring on me, but it's sunny. It's quite warm for it still being winter. 2 days ago, it was kind of chilly. We actually had to turn the heater back on, but I am looking forward to going on a walk and laying by our pool later. I'm not going to lay by the pool like in a bathing suit or anything, but just laying a blanket out kind of in the grassy area near the pool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What you could do here is you could lie on the pool.
Because it's frozen.
Because it's frozen.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So kind of letting people know what's going on live. So we are now broadcasting live every single Tuesday to give our listeners, to give you listening to this podcast later, the opportunity to connect with us live. So and to actually see the conversations we're having, to give that real conversation practice an opportunity to be seen real. So basically, guys, you can't get any more raw than this.
And while we hope that, of course, our quality is just as good as it always has been, now we are not editing anything out. If we make a mistake, it's a mistake. If we go wrong, we go wrong. Can't think of what to say, we can't think of what to say. So this really is as real as you can get. And we wanted to make it authentic and real for you. So no more editing. No more snipping bits out when we don't know what to say. This is a real live 30-minute conversation. You may be watching us live on YouTube or listening to us live on YouTube. You will also be able to listen to us in the podcast in the normal way. So you may be listening to us later in the week in our podcast as normal.
Yes. So the podcast stream on iTunes, on Stitcher, and on our website, English Across the Pond, is still available every single Friday. We still have the episode guide for you to download. We still have the transcripts that you can sign up for and receive. So everything for our podcast listeners is staying the same. We're basically adding a Tuesday feature today live to connect and interact with us. We're still going to have vocabulary, a language focus. I hope everyone is like, mind blown. This is amazing.
So you're not losing, you're just winning. It's a win-win. Everybody wins.
Hashtag winning.
Hashtag winner. And
Yeah.
what is the topic of our first live podcast, Jen? What are we talking about today?
Yeah, so today is a how-to episode, right? Teaching our listeners how to do something, and we're focusing on how to improve your speaking. And we're throwing a little emphasis on like the TOEFL or the IELTS exam. So how to improve your speaking, especially for that IELTS exam. And what inspired this episode was a documentary I saw on Netflix called Minimalism.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, minimalism and stuff. What's your first thought when I say that, my friend across the pond?
My first thought about minimalism.
Mm-hmm.
In what context?
So if I say minimalism, what pops into your mind?
Well, I guess not saying too much and getting to the point if we're talking about speaking. So I guess keeping things brief or...
Oh, no. Sorry, I'm talking about stuff, things.
Oh, I see. So in that case, I would say that I like to be kind of minimalist, and I don't really like a lot of junk everywhere. And this is where me and my wife disagree a little bit. She's not messy, and she's certainly not dirty, but she has a lot of things around the house. And I love nothing more than having like an open space or a clean space. So yeah, I love minimalism. I think it's fantastic. I would rather have a big wall with one picture in rather than a big wall with 50 pictures in. What about you?
Ooh, interesting point with the pictures. And I hope your wife's not watching as you're calling her having a pigsty. Right?
She is on occasion slightly messy. I'll only say that much.
But we love her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting what you said about the pictures. As you can see in my background here, I have about 50 pictures and things right here. So the idea of minimalism really appeals to me. I really like the idea of it. It's something I'm working on, and I'm going to try to implement in my life soon. But the main question I have for you to focus on today, and a main question for our listeners to think about, is can things bring happiness?
Can I first, just if I tip up my camera very slightly, look behind me, look.
One picture on the wall.
Yeah, a big wall with, when I said it, I didn't even realize it was behind me. But yeah, one big wall with one small picture. Can stuff bring happiness? Is that your question, my friend?
Can things bring happiness?
I think people believe it can, and there's such a thing as retail therapy, which is the concept of you feel stressed and you need relief, you need happiness, and you go shopping and buy stuff. And I personally don't believe in retail therapy. And if you buy the right thing, a thing that you really love, then yes, that can bring happiness. But I don't think just having things for the sake of having things brings happiness, I'm afraid.
No, I don't think things can buy. I think it can bring instant happiness, maybe like an instant feeling of like, like what you said about retail therapy. But then what happens with stuff? It goes onto a shelf, like what we have right here. It goes into a storage closet. It goes into a box. And then how can that bring happiness later? So
it's just accumulating. What it's doing is gathering dust.
Yes. What I love, this is the first example of why I love live, because we can connect instantly to like images, and we can show everybody watching live like what we're talking about. Listeners, I think we will put the picture of Dan's wall and the picture I'm about to show in maybe our episode guide, so you can live it as well. But this is one more reason you should join us live to see these pictures. You mentioned having one picture on the wall. Yeah. Can I show you what my ideal wall is and what my old wall was before we moved?
Do it.
Okay, so putting this on the screen.
Oh no, I saw it. Go on.
It went away. So yes, here. It's a little bit blurry, I think.
Yeah, no, you can. I certainly get the idea. Yeah, gorgeous.
So about 100 pictures on the wall. That is my ideal wall.
You know what I would do with that?
What?
Constantly straighten every single picture all the time. I would have to give up work just to keep straightening the pictures.
Yeah, so if you're watching live, let us know in the chat. What do you prefer? One picture on the wall, many pictures on the wall?
The correct answer is I'm joking. We're all different.
Yes. We need to embrace our differences.
Yeah, really.
So this documentary had an experiment. Okay, can I tell you about the experiment?
Surely.
Okay. Experiment is to truly get into the mind frame and the mindset of minimalism and adopt this lifestyle. Is you have to do an experiment that one of the creators did himself. It's taking everything you own, or maybe everything you own, and putting it into a box. And
Whoa.
only taking out what it is that you need. In the end, after a set time, I believe the guy did it for 21 days. But let's say after 1 month, you then evaluate everything that you still have in the box, something that you didn't use in that 1 month, and think, do I really need it? Could you do that experiment? Walk me through that experiment in your life with your stuff.
So I'm going to put all my stuff in a box?
Yeah.
It'd have to be a very big box.
Well, let's say boxes.
Well, obviously, like things like clothes and stuff like that would come out, and my music and my computer and things like that come out. I've got a lot of paperwork, actually, old bills and things like that that I just keep. I don't know why. I could probably get rid of them.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But I'm just looking around. I don't actually. There was a time in my life when I did kind of hoard, and I was more sort of like, I had more stuff. And at some point or other, I think, there was this one day, I can't remember what it was. There was this one day, maybe I was a teenager, and this one moment where I looked at this thing and thought, I actually don't think I'm ever going to need this. And if I really ever do need it, I could probably get, maybe it was a book, I can probably get another one. And I got rid of the book. Hopefully I gave it to a charity shop. And that was kind of like tipped everything. And since then I've been very much let it go, just let things go.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever regretted sort of like, so if in doubt, throw it out. So I honestly don't think there'd be that much left in the box.
Interesting. Yeah. So I gave the idea to my husband, and he's like, well, what about our camping stuff? Like, we're not going to go camping the next month. We throw that away. And what about this? And what about that? And it led me to think of how we as people have so many justifications about why we need something.
Yeah.
And like for me personally, I know with like some clothes, maybe I haven't worn a dress in 2 years, but I think, but if there's a party with this theme, I can wear this dress there and I don't have to buy it later.
Like a black and white check dress theme party that's never going to happen, that kind of party.
Exactly. So this, the documentary I was talking about, it gave this fact that the average American spends Americans, not one person, Americans spend $380 billion per year on stuff. Would you? Yeah, mind blown. Would you say it's similar in the UK?
Yes, because I believe that we live in a society that makes us believe that buying things will lead to happiness. And I think we are duped. We are tricked into believing. That's not to say that buying some things, like a photographer wants a new camera, there are perfectly valid purchases made. But I think a lot of things are impulse buys. And of course, we spoke about the trick of Valentine's or Christmas, and when you buy things you don't really want. I'm sure the figures in the UK would be similarly astronomical.
Ooh, yeah. If I asked you the question, what is your most important possession? Do you have one answer?
Yeah.
Thing. It's got to be a thing.
Yeah. Doraemon. No, it's not really. My most treasured possession, apart from a thing, is MP3s, my external hard drives. Although, of course, the external hard drive is just a metal box, but what it contains is thousands of hours of music. And so, yeah, it's if I had to rush in a fire, there's a fire, and I've saved my wife and daughter, then it would be my external hard drives. What about you?
Ooh, that's a tough one. My mind literally went blank as I was listening to and thinking, well, what's mine going to be? Because there's so many like little things that I could think of, like, my phone, because it has all the pictures of my son on it. And, so there's so many things. Do I choose like the beautiful pearl necklace that, my husband gave me that was like passed down, but that's like a thing. Does it really bring me happiness? And so honestly, when you were saying that, what came in my head was my hard drive, my time machine, right? It's like a Apple time machine thing that backs up my computer. And so why that would be important is because it has important documents, important emails, all of my photos, music. It has so much that I can just maybe carry and take with me in the end. But gosh, those are such superficial things. I
think that with the external hard drive nowadays, it's full of all sorts of memories, isn't it? I mean, I only included the music, but there's of course, like you say, movies on there and photographs on there. I mean, I think maybe 20 years ago many people would have said my wedding album or my photo album, but yeah, I mean, all those things now are stashed electronically. So yeah, I think my choice is a good one, although I do say it myself.
Yeah, maybe you're a little tad bit biased.
maybe, yeah.
I definitely, well, this could be a whole other kind of conversation, a whole other podcast, but I definitely prefer, maybe it's a good thing that I didn't immediately think of one possession, because I do like, and I do prefer to spend money on things that are more of an experience. So like travel or, experience types of things. Live music. I love that.
So therefore, that's just your memory, which you carry around with you.
My noggin.
Yeah.
So that's a hard question, but also a very common question for a TOEFL exam, for example.
Yeah, totally.
And it's something that, our students, if they're taking the TOEFL or an IELTS, they'll need to have an answer on the spot, right?
Which can be extremely difficult, because particularly with younger students, I mean, even for anybody at any age, it could be difficult to think of an answer when they ask you about pollution or they ask you about education or families, and you think, well, I don't know. I haven't got any children, but you have to try and think of something. So it's even harder if you're sort of still in your teens or early 20s and you haven't built up that bank of life experience. But you have to get used to fielding questions that in a way you maybe don't know the answer to, and you don't really care. Really, you don't care that much about should zoos be allowed or should all animals be in. I mean, some people really care about this, but you might be into, like I said earlier, I mentioned photography or cooking, or you think, I don't know what the answer is to that. But you need one in the exam. You've got to think. You can't just say, I like cooking, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you definitely can't have that I don't know answer. So I want to kind of wrap up this chat that we just had, our regular fun chat and learning part of the podcast, and transition into this live language focus. So as our typical podcasts have, we have our conversation chats that you can listen to in our language focus. So in this language focus, we're going to really kind of go over some ways that you can answer this question on a TOEFL exam, where you can use this podcast to improve your speaking. So we talked about stuff. We talked about possessions. We talked about what we liked. So as you're listening to this podcast or this live recording, what did we talk about were some possessions that we liked? What were some things that we talked about that we liked? Do you have some of those same things, dear listener? So you can go back and listen to our conversation when it's available in the recorded form on Friday, and try to create some of your own examples related to the questions that I asked Dan, the questions that he asked me, and that's going to give you vocabulary. That's going to give you a way to answer some of these questions.
And if a student said to you, Jen, how can I come up with these ideas? What's a good way to have an answer to a question that I don't really know the answer to, really. But having said that, there's not a right or wrong answer. In the IELTS exam or in the TOEFL exam or in the TOEIC exam, they don't say, what color do you get if you mix blue and yellow? They ask you open-ended questions.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you just failed them, unfortunately. So they always ask you sort of opinion-based questions, but it may be a question that you don't actually have an opinion on. So what could somebody do if they're stuck in the exam or with their teacher? Or
So I think that this can really connect to last week's episode where we had Lindsay, our guest, on, and she made that connection of just introducing yourself to a variety of things to give you that vocabulary. Yeah. So if these types of questions, you can look at common TOEFL questions, common IELTS questions. You can see what the themes are, see what the questions are, and then read, listen, watch a variety of things to get some of that vocabulary. So pre-learn some of these things to have an idea of something you can talk about. You said there is no right or wrong answer. So you don't, if the question is what's your most important possession, and you say your iPad, that's just as good as my wedding photo album, or my hard drive, or a ring that's been passed down generation to generation. If you're stuck, your TV. Why? Because you use it every day for entertainment, you use it for education on the news, and it helps you relax. Boom, there's your answer right there.
Give me a topic and I'll tell you why it's my favorite thing, and I'll answer like the IELTS question. Just think of anything you like.
So let's do a practice TOEFL exam where I'm going to give you a question. You're going to have about 15 seconds to prepare, and then you are going to need to answer in about 60 seconds. Are you up for that challenge?
Let's do it, my friend.
All right. So I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to pull up my my stopwatch timer here for you. So the question for you is, what is your most important possession and why? You have 15 seconds to prepare. Your time starts now. Beep.
The beep doesn't help.
Now, normally, of course, there wouldn't be any kind of talking during this preparation. You as a student would be thinking about everything you can, writing down your notes and your outline. Beep, stop, 15 seconds over. You have 60 seconds to prepare to give your answer. Your 60 seconds starts now.
It's a very interesting question, and I'm glad you've asked me. My most treasured possession is my external hard drive. It's a 2 terabyte hard drive, so there's a lot of space on there, and it's full of music. The reason this is important is music has played a very big part in my life. I don't watch movies. I don't really watch TV. I listen to music all the time, and music lifts me up. It helps when I'm sad. I like pretty much all kinds of music, music that spans all the decades, all the genres, and my whole life has been me listening to music, interrupted by other things that just get in the way. But basically all I do with my life is listen to music. People stop me, like at one point I had to get married, but after I'd got married I started listening to music again. Thanks.
All right, so that's about 60 seconds. So you could see that the answer was what the thing was, but then the majority of the answer was why, giving reasons. So if you think about it, that thing, the answer you give doesn't really matter. It comes down to what your reasons are. So you want to just think, if you're stuck with this particular question, when it comes down to things, what does a thing do for you, and use those reasons to emphasize your answer.
Do you want to do an IELTS one?
Are we short on time, or should we wrap this up?
I think we can squeeze in you doing one. Now, the IELTS is slightly different because you're given 2 or 3 sort of ideas. So what I'd like you to talk about, you'll have time to prepare, don't panic. What I'd like you to talk about is an important possession. I'd like you to tell me, please, where you got it from, how long you've had it, and why it's special to you.
Okay.
Normally in the IELTS, you have 60 seconds to prepare and 1 to 2 minutes to go blah, 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 blah.
Does the structure matter in the IELTS, if our listeners want to know?
No, it doesn't have to go in sort of like a sort of, no, it doesn't have to follow the same order. So long, I mean, people normally do follow the same pattern, but no, you could answer it like 2, 1, 3, for example, if you wanted to. Do you need more time? Are you stalling for time? Do you need time?
Connections breaking up. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's fine. So let's give an answer. Should I just go for it?
I've got the stopwatch here, so like go for 60 seconds if you can. I'll start waving my arms around.
Well, I don't need 60 seconds just because we don't need to have that kind of dead air. Let's just go. This is an answer with no preparation. Keep that in mind.
You ready?
Yeah.
Go.
So my most important possession would have to be this beautiful pearl necklace that was given to me from my husband. And it's special to me not only because it came from my husband, but it was something that his grandmother had given to him. So his grandmother gave it to him because they were really close. And obviously my husband wasn't going to wear a pearl necklace, but it was with the intention of giving it to, you know, his wife or the woman he was going to spend his time with. And it means a lot to me because I also was able to meet this beautiful, charming woman. So it's something special because it was handed down from somebody who was really important, his grandma, from someone whom I love, my husband. And it's something that I'm able to enjoy right now and something that I can give to my daughter or maybe my son's future partner. And yeah.
Wow, you were actually winding up at like exactly 1 minute. I think when you've been teaching for a long time, you automatically go to this 60-second. I think I do anyway.
Yeah. So
well done, you.
Thank you. Woo. So this language focus can help you. This episode can help you with the question related to things, related to stuff. We've talked a little bit about some things that people might like. We've given you some ideas about why these things might be important. So you can use this episode to build your vocabulary about stuff, about things. You can get it. You could review how to ask questions about things, how to have conversations about things, and know that all of our episodes in the past have been surrounded on some kind of theme. So we have an episode about health. You may have a question about health and medicine. Listen to that episode to learn new vocabulary, to learn how to talk about health. Use our podcast episodes to learn how you can talk about the themes related to our titles. Yeah.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Our first ever live broadcast has come to it's flown by.
I know. It's time flies when you're having fun.
Quite right. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. So as a wrap up of this, you guys know that we've said some vocabulary. If you're watching live that maybe you haven't really understood. If you are listening to this podcast, maybe there are expressions you don't quite understand. So remember, you can download the episode guide to this episode from our website, EnglishAcrossThePond.com, every Friday. Once you sign up to get the episode guide, you will have your unique password to get all of the episode guides. So you don't need to sign up every single time. You sign up once, and then you have access to all future episode guides. So you can sign up by clicking the link in each of the episodes on our website, or just on our homepage, EnglishAcrossThePond.com. That first button in the middle of a screen is to get the episode guide there. You'll have access to definitions, example sentences of expressions, more details about this language focus, vocabulary, etc., etc.
It's been fantastic. Shall we do it again next week?
We absolutely should do it again next week. Do you want to tell them about that private members area we have on the website?
I'd love to. And on our website, there is at the top of the homepage, you can click on members. That will take you through to two choices. You can either become a gold member and you will get a transcript every week. There are videos There's a blog in there. What else is in there, Jennifer?
There is a thank you page where your picture will be on the wall with all of our other members. As Dan said, the transcript. There's also bonus training videos. So right now we have expressions about Valentine's Day. We have phrasal verb things in there. We have videos about pronunciation, more idioms and expressions. So when you become a gold member, you get more English training.
Wow. And there's even a platinum membership, which would involve having lessons face-to-face in real time with Jennifer and I. So if you are really serious and want to take your English to the next level, click on members on our homepage and have a look at what we have to offer.
Yes. So everyone listening live, watching live, everybody listening to this podcast, thank you so much. We love joining. We love getting together and talking. We love that we can help you reach a new goal and improve your English. And we love to hear back from our listeners. So what do you think about this new live lesson? What do you think about this new experience? Send us an email. Let us know. Connect with us. We love ya.
Been great. Thank you so much for joining us on our first ever live YouTube English Across the Pond. See you next week, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.